first name Neil, last name Quintana, Neil Quintana. Thank you.
This is one that.
Hey, Brittany, do you know where Beth is?
No. I'm gonna go stand out here.
You guys need to turn this down more?
Sorry, no. Mine's already.
Isabel? Yeah. You do me a favor, you better stand up, put your hands behind your back.
Right here, the tone shifts, but notice how controlled everything still is. The officer is methodical, almost reassuring, even while physically restraining her. This is standard procedure, but it's also psychologically intense. Being handcuffed is the moment where reality sets in. You're no longer just being questioned, you're being detained. And pay attention to Brittany's response. She's compliant, even concerned about comfort rather than resisting. That kind of behavior can sometimes influence how officers proceed, but it doesn't change the severity of what's coming next. So let me ask you, does her calm demeanor suggest innocence, shock, or something else entirely?
Just gonna tighten these just a little bit, okay? Don't move. You start twisting your hands, it'll get real tight on you. Okay, so just leave your hands to yourself. You alright?
Yeah.
You need me to loosen a little bit? Which one?
No, it's okay. It's just I gotta like stab the back of the thing.
Okay. Alright. Just come on out this way.
I think we're going down.
Out this way?
Yeah,
towards
because that way it gets you out to the.
Okay, so we're waiting for the other guy. I'm just going to bring them both at the same time.
Have they explained what's going on?
He's coming? The other one.
Have they explained to you? So unfortunately, you are under arrest. You're being charged with attempted first-degree murder.
And here it is, the moment everything becomes crystal clear. Attempted first-degree murder. Not just a serious charge. This is one of the most severe accusations short of actual homicide. And the key word here? Premeditated. That means authorities believe this wasn't impulsive. It was planned. Legally, that changes everything. It raises the stakes in terms of sentencing, intent, and how prosecutors will build their case. But here's what's fascinating. Brittany's response is minimal. No immediate denial, no emotional outburst. That silence can be interpreted in many ways. So what do you think? Shock, strategy, or something more telling?
Okay. And that's premeditated. You're going to be transported to jail, and then you'll be able to get in contact with your parents there, okay? But we are going to call your parents to let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay? All right.
Her stuff's evidence. Okay, let's take it. We're going to head out this way.
Yeah, but we're just
All right, just waiting
just
for
waiting.
both of you at the same time.
You're gonna do the same time? Are they different cars or same car?
Same car. Okay. I'm just waiting for the other one to walk out in front of both.
Close the door.
Now we're seeing coordination between officers, and this is where the situation expands. It's not just Brittany. There's another individual involved, likely Beth. The mention of transporting both in the same car suggests they're connected in this case. That raises a big question. Are they co-defendants? Were they working together? In criminal law, shared involvement can complicate things, especially if one decides to cooperate with authorities. And trust me, that happens more often than people think. So keep this in mind as we move forward. If both are charged, their stories need to align, or someone's version of events is going to fall apart.
Get on the other side. Thank you.
I assume you need me to come with you.
What's that?
You need me to come with you.
I don't think so. We got the Danish for the second on. Yeah.
For a search or no?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Somebody
We gotta kiss her?
teacher working.
good.
Would you guys still down building 6?
Check on you real quick.
I'm Detective Sandra at the Sheriff's Office. I know you've been searched a few times, had it down by the stool, because you're getting the back of this car, you have to search you again. Do you have anything hidden on you that may have been missed?
This part might seem routine, but it's actually critical. The officer is warning about hidden items, because anything discovered later that wasn't disclosed now can lead to additional charges. That's how quickly legal trouble can escalate. Even something small can be interpreted as obstruction or concealment. And notice how direct the officer is. This isn't just procedure, it's a legal safeguard. They're making it clear. You've been given the chance to be honest. From here on out, anything new could make your situation worse. So here's something to think about. If you were in this position, would you speak up or stay silent?
Okay. If they find something that's hidden that we don't find, you will get an extra charge at the jail. So this is your time to talk, okay?
To the bill?
4 minutes.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine. Okay, this face forward for me, please. Okay.
Hey, once we at least get them in the car, we'll go back and get their badges.
Do you mean you stand by here while you guys grab the bags?
The church said it's evidence.
Oh, the bags are. Oh, they're taking the bags as evidence?
He said hers.
Bags are evidence.
Both of them?
You guys can go. Yeah.
Okay.
So they don't need their book bags.
Now we're transitioning into the administrative side, but don't let that fool you. This is where the case starts being built on paper. Reports, narratives, evidence logs, this is what prosecutors will rely on in court. Every detail documented here can later be used to support or challenge the charges. And notice the mention of bags being taken as evidence. That suggests there's physical proof tied to the alleged crime. That's huge, because in cases involving intent, physical evidence can either confirm or completely undermine a story. So the big question now is, what exactly is in those bags?
All right, have a seat.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. See about report wise, it's
Just in transfer.
okay.
I'm 99% sure at least. Let me talk to church. There's a narrative that's in it right now, but it's just the first contact
So I'll
narrative.
just tell them.
Do you got the Sally Port info? Like the website?
On my computer.
Yeah. Can you start working on that?
Yeah.
Is that better?
And they're both in the report already.
Good.
What's her charge? The second one.
You gotta talk to church about that.
Just go get my laptop and come back down.
Okay.
As soon as it's out
So let's bring this all together. What started as a calm interaction quickly escalated into a high-stakes arrest involving charges of attempted first-degree murder with premeditation, one of the most serious accusations in criminal law. We saw a composed suspect, coordinated law enforcement actions, and the early stages of evidence collection that could define the entire case. But here's the bigger picture. Cases like this often hinge on what we don't see in moments like these: the backstory, the intent, and the evidence still being processed. Will the prosecution be able to prove premeditation? Or is there more to the story that hasn't surfaced yet? If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.